How we doing, guys? Back with you for another video here. Um, Coming up on our 9th week of the term. Uh, so with you guys having submitted your MLA research essays, that is going to mark the end of the first half of the term. And now we're moving on to the second half. The second half, we do cover more modes of discourse. So in the first half, that was narration, description, persuasion and argumentation, MLA research. And in this half, it's going to be classification. Um, let's see, what else are we doing? We are doing compare contrast. We are also going to be doing, let's see, definition as well. Okay. Maybe cause and effect. We'll see how far we get, how the weeks line up towards the end of the term here. So for this week, there are two things to do. One is an SCC assignment on the new mode of discourse, which is classification. And to classify basically means to define something based on its unique characteristics. When we classify things, we break them down into smaller, more manageable parts so that we can understand them better. Think of all the classifications there are out there. Different genres of movies, for example, different types of cuisine, different states in the United States, smaller parts that make up a bigger whole is what we're going to be looking at with classification and division. Now, for the second half, you're not going to have to write any new essays. The essay component for this half of the course is going to require you to revisit your first half essays, make some corrections based on your rubric score and any comments I made, and add another page to your original page count. What you'll do there by doing that is giving yourself an opportunity to improve upon your previous score. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to average your new score with your old score, and that average will be your new score. Okay, that will replace the old score in the gradebook. Okay, so some of you, more than I'm comfortable admitting, haven't turned essays in, or just plain old haven't turned assignments in. I understand that if you're not in a face-to-face classroom, class might seem a little immaterial, like it's not there. I mean, after all, we're not together. You're not seated in a desk. I'm not, in front of you lecturing and all that stuff. So being that it's an online course, it might seem as though, well, it's not really real. It's not a real course. Well, yes, it is, with real grades and real expectations and real consequences, okay? So I mentioned this in the very beginning. It's in the syllabus. You have to keep up with the weekly work, okay? And if you have an issue, you need to let me know as soon as possible, and I'll give you an extension. It's that easy. But if you come back, weeks after things are due, oh, by the way, can I make up all the work I missed? Well, no, okay? Mostly because I can't, unless it's something really dire or extreme, but I can't reopen the course just for you. First of all, I can't isolate you as a member in the course and just reopen the course for you. It'd be reopened for everybody, and that kind of screws with the continuity of the course, and proceeding on a week-by-week basis. An assignment closes, a new one opens. So you have to keep up. And I know it can be frustrating. Full disclosure, I've probably mentioned this before. My day job is teaching middle school. I teach here online with GNTC in Sonoraville High School. But I was also a student as well, online, as early as last year. December of 2021 is when I finished. So that was a lot of responsibility, and it was a lot of time commitment. It was frustrating. I rolled my eyes a lot, okay? I didn't like doing homework. I thought it was a drag. Nobody likes school, by the way. Okay, let's just cut the bull. I mean, Nobody, it's a drag, et cetera, et cetera. I get it, okay? However, you got to do it, okay? Just one of those things in life that you might not want to do, but you must do it. Uh, and, if you expect to get a decent grade and all that stuff, okay? So, some people don't turn things in at all, and I'm not quite sure what the reasoning there is. I understand things happen, but it would seem to me if you're enrolled in a course, uh, you would want to keep up with things and know how you're doing and check in regularly, communicate. Speaking of communication, a couple of us are getting a little too casual and um, are kind of forgetting that, I'm your teacher, you are my student. When you address me in an email, okay, and I hold myself to this standard too, it's in the netiquette attachment. I try to temper my tone and be professional with you. You need to do the same to me. Don't just come out asking me a question like, hey, when's this due? Where's this thing? Okay, that's my gruff Italian voice that I use. I can do that because I'm Italian, right? Okay. Um, but, you know, hi, Mr. Volpe. May I please ask when this is due? It's what I did with my teachers. I treated them like they were in a position of, they were my professional peers, but they were also my teachers, okay? I had to respect them. Even if I didn't like them, okay, I still had to show them a modicum of respect. This is just working together in the professional world, right? So do me a favor and don't don't get all snippy and just watch your tone, guys, and just make the extra effort to you know have a proper greeting in an email and make sure things are spelled right. It's a really small thing that you can do that goes a long way. All right. So please, okay, and I'll do the same. I mean, there are a few replies that I sent over the week, and if I had replied to these emails with the same tone and style that I had been addressed with, you know, we'd be going around in this vicious circle of being mean and nasty to each other. So let's watch it, okay? Please. So here's our little come to Jesus moment. You need to do your work, obviously. If you have trouble, if you're having problems, you need to let me know as soon as possible, not weeks after, okay? And we'll try our best to take care of it. Watch plagiarization, guys. I have a plagiarism checker on the papers. It is laughably easy for me to see if you are plagiarizing or not. It has, what you have said, and it'll pull up the source from online or another student paper. And if it's plagiarizing, what happens is if my plagiarism checker is at a 25% or higher, I check the report and I, pick it with a fine-tooth comb. And that indicates to me that something smells a little fishy here, okay? So if you do plagiarize, it's an automatic 0. If you could explain yourself, or give some compelling evidence as to why, you say you didn't plagiarize, blah, 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 I'll consider it. But don't copy things word for word. Or if you do, put quotation marks around what you have written and cite your source appropriately in a bibliography, a works cited page, okay? Otherwise, you're stealing, okay? So let's mind our P's and Q's. Some of us are getting a little kind of deviating from the ethics of a well-run class and being conscientious students, okay? So just make sure that you're doing that. And I don't mean to sound fussy. I mean, most of us are doing what we should be doing. It's just a few of us, I think, need a gentle reminder, okay? So, in review, there are 2 things to do this week. There is an SCC assignment. That is 3.3, classification and division. There are 2 exercises there that ask you to identify certain things and break them down into smaller parts. That is the mode of classifying and dividing. And then also there is a discussion forum on an article titled, "Is There a Formula for a Good Book?" The discussion forum asks you to read the article wherein the author kind of, you know, digs into investigating this theory. Is there a way to write a good book? Is there a formula? So he actually gives you his, you know, classification on the smaller parts that add up to a successfully written book. Okay. So there's that. So just 2 assignments this week, kicking off the first part of our second half. Next week is going to be editing our narrative essay. We're going to look at our first essay we wrote. You guys are going to go ahead with any revisions that you might have, that you might need to consider. Make your corrections, add a page, and then presumably that will have improved your score. I'll take that improved score and average it with your original score, and then that average will become your final score for that particular essay. Okay, but that's next week. So let's just worry about what we have this week. Again, a new mode of discourse, that is classification and division, and 2 assignments there. And we are kind of resetting here, getting back to basic netiquette, addressing each other, you know, like I'm your teacher and you are my student. We are all professionals working together here. You know, making sure we read over our emails before we, you know, send them out in frustration. We've all been there, okay? You know, that's kind of the social media effect, right? We think we could just, like, you know, hammer away on our keyboard and, you know, the nerve of this guy telling me I need to do this, okay? How dare he? I'll give him a piece of my mind. Give me a piece of your mind, fine, but you might want to, you know, reread the email and maybe delete it if it sounds a little too off kilter, let's say, okay? I do that all the time. I used to do it on Twitter and Facebook, which I no longer belong to, but if I was really worked up about something, I'd type it out, and then maybe I'd just, you know, sit with it for a second and realize I probably shouldn't send this, and then I would erase it. And that, you know, I'd still get to get my emotions out by writing it down, but I wouldn't go the final step and submit the angrily intoned email or post or whatever, okay? So let's just get back to basics, guys. Being professional and courteous and conscientious and all that good stuff, okay? Alrighty then, I reckon that is going to do it. And just one more thing, the discussion forum on Is There a Formula for a Good Book? Due on the 11th, that is Friday. All discussions, blogs, journals, again, are going to be due on the Friday, and then the SCC and reader stuff, those assignments will be due the Sunday. So the forum is due on the 11th, and then the SCC assignment is due on Sunday the 13th. Okay? All right. Peace, love, and all that jazz. And catch you again next time. Bye-bye.